Welcome to episode 16 of A Fighting Chance. I'm Jared. We've got Salvador.
Hey.
And welcome to another extremely exciting episode for us. I'm honored to announce that we have your boy, Eryk Anders, with us. Thank you so much for being here, man. This really means a lot. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing awesome. And yourself?
Doing great. This is Sal has really stepped it up. I always gotta give him kudos because he's been reaching out to just some people that we are just very inspired by. We love fights. Like, we just love watching fights. I haven't been into it as long as Sal's been into this, but we've been. I grew up. I was very close with Sal's father, and then we started doing this podcast like in this last year, and I was like, man, this is just so fun talking about the UFC, talking every week about this. But I didn't know if you'd ever book fighters, like real guys who get in this in the octagon together. And then he started doing this in like the last 4 weeks and just getting responses from people, and I couldn't be more proud of him. And it's just been really cool. Like every day I get like a new text message that's like, oh, this clip's doing really well, and this one, and then he's like, oh, Eryk's coming on Monday. And it's just it's just an exciting journey to be a part of, and I'm very proud of him for all that he's been doing for it. So thank you once again, Sal. You're really killing this.
I think you'll be surprised at how easygoing fighters are and how willing they are to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. They've
Absolutely.
Been everybody's been super pleasant that we've had on, and it's nice.
Yeah, and no, it's I tell everybody, like, at some point in the podcast, but like I'll just start off. Like, I lost my eyesight when I was 11 years old, and this whole life journey that I've been on is like, it makes talking to fighters, it's something that listening to fighter stories before, like when I'm just listening to them, like doing interviews, just listening to whatever about them, about their lives, it's something that's extremely relatable for me. And it's like, I grew up doing jiu-jitsu, I grew up doing some kickboxing, I was an ice hockey player before I lost my sight, and then I found music after I went blind. And there's just something that's very relatable about everybody who I think gets in that octagon. I mean, maybe not everybody, I can't speak on everybody's behalf, but there's a story to be told for everybody, the reason that they're there, what they're overcoming, why they're doing what they're doing. And it's just something that I find just, it goes pretty hand in hand with my life's journey. And I love hearing about it. I feel very connected and inspired by just everybody's story that they're willing to tell. And it's just cool to be able to talk to people like you. So like I said, thank you for being here. It's really awesome.
Yeah, thank you for sharing all that too.
Of course, man. But yeah, this week, after you told me that you were coming on, it was cool. Just one thing is, as soon as you hear that somebody's coming on your podcast, you instantly become like the biggest fan of them ever. It's like they can do no wrong. You just start like immediately like, oh my God, Eryk did this, and like, did you know Eryk played football for? Like, it's just like there's like such exciting things about, like, as soon as you find out you're going to be talking to somebody, you become like just this like man, I don't know how if I start to talk to a bunch of people and then they end up like fighting each other, I don't know if I'll be able to sit in front of the television on that day. Like, I'm gonna be like this. I'm too emotionally invested in something like that.
I can assure you, I've done a lot of wrong in my life, and will probably do more.
Yeah, I mean, that's life. That's living.
Sure.
But yeah. Could you like, I mean, tell me a little bit about that, if you don't mind. Like, what's something that you would consider is wrong? Like, because I think it's something that we all learn from our mistakes.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like everybody makes mistakes, just growing up, and that's part of living, and I guess becoming a man or an adult or whatever. So
yeah,
and it's hard to think of anything off like the top of my head, but yeah, like nobody's perfect,
For sure, I'm far from perfect. I like to think of my life as just like this. You want to reach a point where life starts to be less weight on your shoulder and less of like an emotional roller coaster. Because I think as a man, like it's easy to let life be like dictate you versus like you dictating your own life, and life can feel overwhelming, heavy. I think like, yeah, I don't know, whatever those obstacles are, like I said, like I lost my eyesight at 11, so it's like I was always like trying to escape from something, like whether it was like drinking or getting high in high school, like, or like whatever that was, like, just because I mean high school is like, it's got parties everywhere you turn. It's like, okay, cool, senior in high school, I got a party now. And like for me it was, you know, the lack of being able to see like where everybody was at a party. I was like, all right, I'll just drink more than everyone around. And like,
Yeah.
for some reason that seemed to work as like an easy escape. I told somebody this week at the gym, I was like, yeah, like I was at a party, like a friend's bar mitzvah when I was 13 years old, and my dad and like two of his close friends gave me, because they saw like everybody was dancing and I was just like sitting at the table with them, they gave me like 2 Long Island iced teas when I was like 13 years old. And I was like, and I literally remember that feeling. Like I was like, oh shit, like this feels different. Like I'm out of my head. I'm out of my like, and like, because I felt like what a buzz was like at like that age, and I was like, oh no, this is good. I like this, and that's not a good feeling to realize that you like when you're 13 years old.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's too much to navigate. But like I said, like life is about learning from those mistakes, and it's been, for me, like there's like been like a domino effect that's led me to greener pastures. And I think at this point, I'm 32 now, so I feel like at this point, like I'm pretty good at navigating what works for myself. Like I feel like if I'm going to the gym every day, if I'm surrounding myself with people who I love and family, and working out and cooking good food and talking to cool people like you and playing a lot of music, I feel like that's my recipe for what works. Do you feel like have you found like that recipe for what works for you?
Yeah, and I think that's, part of the, journey of life, For me, it's like exercise, no matter what it is that I'm going through or whatever. If I go for a run, lift some weights, go train or whatever, I always feel better for a little bit, you know what I mean? So, and also like, whatever I'm training or running or whatever it is that I'm doing, like all my problems cease to exist for that period of time. So, yeah, I try to do it as much as possible, because the feeling of reward is greater than the feeling of being like sad or whatever. And then even science says like whenever you exercise or work out, your body releases all the the dopamine and serotonin and stuff, and those feel good hormones and stuff like that. So yeah, I think a lot more people would be less depressed if they just got out, got some sunlight, and exercised a little bit.
And it's so funny because it's so simple, but it's like it's just hard for people to get off the couch and do that. Like I remember when I was young, like my dad would be trying to get me to work out, and I'd already lost my sight. Like I wasn't playing ice hockey anymore, and every single time I would lift weights, I would literally be like, "Dad, this makes me dizzy. I don't like this," and I would just stop. Versus like pushing, like it makes everybody hates it at first, and it's like
Sure.
All you got to do is push past that feeling. And like then that's when the endorphins kick in. Then that's when you get that, like, because for me it's like, as long as if I suffer through a really good workout every single morning, like I just feel like nothing in that day is going to, like, everything that comes my way that day I'll be able to handle a little bit better, because I already overcame some feeling of like suck. like that. And I just think that that's such an important thing, like, for everybody. But I don't know, man. Like excuses are pretty loud in this generation, I feel.
Yeah, and like I got kids, and one of them is like extremely athletically talented, and if something comes hard to him, he doesn't want to work at it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
My other one, he's
because he's just natural.
He's like naturally good at everything. Like there's no body movement that he can't do. There's his body control is like, and I'm not saying it because he's my kid, you know what I mean? But he's a natural born athlete. My other kid, my oldest, he's not quite the athlete. He's more like me. He'll be an athlete by trade. He'll have like a certain level of athleticism, but everything else is going to come through hard work and sweat. And Yeah, so I try to teach them both. Like regardless of whatever, like it's the work that you put in that's going to bring you to the top. You know, because my youngest, I'm like, okay, you're better than everybody now, but eventually those kids who are less talented than you are going to work really hard, and they're going to even the playing field. So, you know, if you work really hard and you're as talented as you are, there is no catching up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Because I didn't do any, like, I stopped everything, like, physical, basically, from, like, age 13 till, like, 25. Like, I didn't, like, I was just, like, a partying band dude, like, who would just go on, like, tour with my band and get drunk all the time. Like, and I didn't do anything, like, athletic. Because, but what's so funny is all my friends who were athletes, then they stopped. And then my dad passed away when I was 25, and then that's what started me on like my fitness journey. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, but like everybody who was like in college who was like athletic then who stopped, like, because that's like when I got started, and it's just so interesting, like just how different it is, like because it is an important thing, more so later, like when you're a man in your 20s, 30s, 40s, like that, those ages matter more because everything's so easy to be, you know, a natural genetic like athlete when you're 12 years old, and you know you develop a skill of a sport at that age. It's like, oh cool, I'm great at something. It's like it's way easier to consider it to be fun when you're already good at something when you're young. But you know, the discipline is, I think, a little bit more difficult to tap into later in life, but even more important.
Yeah, you know, and for me, like I never wanted to be like I wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda, dida kind of thing, you know. So
Right.
regardless of what happens in my life, you know, I'll never be able to like I don't have any regrets, or I can't be like, oh man, I should have did this or whatever. You know, whatever it is or however far I get, you know, is because of the maximum amount of effort and time that I put into whatever it is that I'm trying to master.
What instilled that in you as a kid?
And I'm just 5 out of 6 kids, so you know, you bottom of the totem pole. You know, you gotta, you know, do
Wow.
something to even the playing field. You know, like my brothers are way bigger and stronger and all that stuff. So, man, I need to, you know, learn how to not get beat up. So, you know, and then like I don't know, like being that, you know, I truly think like, you know, there's so many kids running around. There's not enough attention for all the kids. You know what I mean? So I think like me playing sports growing up was like a cry for attention or whatever.
Yeah.
Then after a certain point, it's like, oh, I'm kind of good. Like, I actually like this. Oh, girls like football players, or you know, whatever. So okay, whatever. I'll just put all my cards into that hat. You know what I mean?
That's an interesting point because I do feel like girls love football players,
Mm-hmm.
but every time you're telling somebody if you're telling a female like you're watching fights, they're just like ew. Like and it depends on the girl because like I'll sit and watch fights every weekend with my wife and she absolutely loves them, but like a lot of women are more into football players, but it's still just as like aggressive as a thing. Maybe, I mean, people get hurt more often. It's I don't know. What do you think?
Um, I don't know. I think every sport has its, you know, you know, maybe groupies or whatever you want to call them. You know, like
Yeah.
there's just like a certain demographic of girls that like baseball players or basketball players or whatever. Maybe it's a body type thing. Maybe it's a confidence thing. Maybe it's like a swagger thing. Maybe it's like a contract, like dollar amount that, you know, whatever they're making or whatever it is. But yeah, there's plenty of girls that like fighters, and you know, because man, they're probably in the best shape of all athletes. I think outside of gymnastics, you know, a lot of them they're you know, confidence and swagger is you know up there and whatnot, and you know, I think that's what you know attracts women, regardless if you're an athlete or not. Like if you're not confident, like you're not gonna get a lot of girls like
That's the
this.
key.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much different was being like a part of a football team, like as far as the average personality type of a football player than going into an MMA gym, like with the people that you're training with?
Man, football players are a lot more cocky, you know.
Yeah.
'Cause they're not like battle tested, you know. They're not. No one has beaten them up. They haven't been choked out. You know, they don't realize their own vulnerability in the world. Whereas MMA fighters, they're much more humble and surprising to people who've never hung around MMA fighters. That Like, oh, I didn't think that you would be like that, or I didn't think that, whatever. But MMA fighters, they get beat up on a daily basis. They get punched in the face on a daily basis. They get choked out, armbarred, submitted by people their own size or smaller. So you can't hide from yourself in MMA very long. You know what I mean?
Were you hooked right
Football,
away?
like you can put on this machismo, like you can put on this, and it may not be false confidence because you don't know, but in the locker room, like there's not a whole lot of like fighting going on for the most part. There's just a lot of shit talking, and that's it. MMA, like you can say what you want to say, but you're gonna hop in that cage over there and spar or fight or whatever, and somebody's gonna get exposed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I heard you on Joe Rogan talking about driving down to your first fight and how you had 2 fights that night, and one was a boxing match and one was an MMA match, like in the same night. And were you just like hooked right away?
Yeah, I think after the first time I sparred, I was like, this is it for me. This is what I want to do, and whatever I got to do between now and whenever I start making some decent money that I can live off of, that's what I'm gonna do. So, I kind of, I was working a job, and I get up early, go to sleep late, train in between when I wasn't working. So, yeah.
Was going on Joe Rogan like was it just shocking to even walk into that studio? Because I can only imagine just being in there would just be like, I don't know, just intimidating. Like I'm not even sure what it would feel like.
Nah, because he's a super down to earth dude, easy to talk to. He does a good job making you feel comfortable in there because I'm sure he understands like his status and what being on that show means, and the viewership and whatnot. So, he's super cool, super down to earth. That's really what shocked me is just how down to earth he is. He's got $100 million deal with Spotify. He interviews like the best specialists and experts in damn near any particular field, and yeah, it's so I think he knows where he's at and what he's doing, and so yeah.
I just had like as soon as you started talking about your ego death with the DMT at Henry Cejudo's house, I just felt like that was like in your back pocket of like, okay, I can pull this out at any moment, and Joe's gonna just fucking love me.
Well, that's how I got invited to go on the show because him and I got to talking about DMT.
Really?
Like, hey, you want to come get on the show and talk about it? And I was like, yes, absolutely.
I mean, why not talk about it on the world's biggest platform that you can? But so is that just? I mean, because you're at Fight Ready now with Henry Cejudo, aren't you?
Yeah. I was. Me and the owner had some differences, so I don't think I'll be going back there anymore.
Well, Henry Cejudo's house sounds like a good time. From
it was. He's married with kids now, so he doesn't do that kind of stuff as much anymore. So yeah, but it was quite the experience for sure.
I've been trying to convince young Sal to have an ego death like that for a solid year now, but his ego is through the roof, Eryk. I don't know what to do with this guy.
Give it a go, man. Give it a try.
I'll consider it.
Just blast off and meet the elves.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But that is I don't know. It was just it's wild because I'm not somebody who listens to Joe all the time anymore. But when I used to, I always felt like going on there. I have so much that I would love to talk to him about, like in that world of just like, I mean, even and then you started talking about how every single time you would smoke weed after that, you would just start to get extremely paranoid. And I was like, I can totally relate to like everything. It's interesting how like one thing will start something else.
Yeah. Have you ever done DMT?
I have.
Yeah,
I have, in like a very similar sense of like it was like a weekend of it because you're doing it for like the entire weekend, and then it takes like the last time for you to like truly break through, and then once you break through, you're just like, oh, okay, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, it's a crazy experience, and I've done it like 3 more times since then, but never had quite the same experience as I did the first time. So
right.
maybe I didn't do enough, or maybe I you know, maybe I'm like chasing the dragon kind of thing, you know. But yeah, each time has been different, and you know, I got something different out of it, you know.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that unless you experience it, to explain it is impossible, and to experience it yourself is it's like it's an earth-shattering experience that like literally leaves everything else. It puts everything else into perspective in this really interesting way, and it makes I don't know, it makes like bullshit to detect bullshit. It becomes like so obvious in every situation in your normal day life, and then like everything in that world is it just all of your questions become instantly answered, which is that's a unique thing because we all are walking around on this earth just with endless questions, and not that we don't still have them, but for some of those loud ones, it definitely helps. And like with the ego death thing is something that, you know, the beautiful thing about DMT is everybody has this same experience, and that's what's so weird. And to say it's like, oh, this hallucinogenic drug, like that's not what it is. Like, because nobody would be like, people wouldn't be having identical experiences if there wasn't something genuinely going on out there.
Yeah, you know, I try to like people ask me about it now who have never done it, and as I'm explaining it, I see their face.
Yeah,
I was just like, yeah, listen, dude, you're not gonna understand what I'm talking about until you do it or try
right.
it, you know. Um, yeah, for me, like it was being able to admit certain things to myself that you know I wasn't able to admit, and I find a reason for okay, this happened because of that, or that happened because of this, but you know, it just you know, kind of gets you like, dude, it's your fault, you know, kind of get you to admit things to yourself that you know your ego or whatever you want to call it wouldn't allow you to, or see that side of the story or whatever it is, you know. So yeah, it's been I recommend it to people, but you know you have to be ready for it. If you're not ready for it, you're gonna freak out,
For
and
sure.
maybe you don't get anything out of it.
I'm the same way. Like I'm somebody who, if I don't know, I would recommend mushrooms to everybody as well. Like I just think this earth would be a way more peaceful place to live on, and I don't know. It's like, but at the same time, like you said, it's not for everybody. Like weed can sometimes just totally be the wrong thing for. Like they can have a psychological break on it. They can get extremely paranoid. But not. I don't think paranoia is a bad thing. Like I think you learn from your paranoia. But like panic attacks are scary. Like, and if you've never had one of those, you'll think you're absolutely having a heart attack. Like the first one that I ever had, I was like, oh no, my dad died of a heart attack. This is exactly what's happening to me right now. But then you start to realize it's like, oh, this is 100% controllable in my head.
Sure. Like, yeah, I don't think I ever had like a panic attack or nothing like that. But like the first time I smoked weed after I did the DMT, and it's probably gonna sound weird, but like it kind of feels like the spirit of the toad is like kind of lives inside you, you know, and I
Yeah.
could just like feel like the toad like I feel like it was angry at me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I talked to somebody about that, and they were talking about like frequencies of drugs or whatever, and like weed is a low frequency
Mm-hmm.
drug, so like you know, I don't know. Like I said, it sounds weird whenever you say it out loud or whatever, but
No, but I know what you're talking about. Like
I
weed can make
truly
people.
believe,
Yeah.
like you know. And then maybe it was just my body telling me that you know you don't need that stuff no more. Because I always thought I was doing it for fun, you know. So I just like being high, I like the way it makes me feel or whatever. But
Right.
you know, maybe subconsciously I was like running away from something or putting something off or you know whatever it is, you know.
And that voice in our head is, it can be loud, but it's telling us the truth, you know.
Sure.
And but I know what you're saying, because like you can always justify something that feels good. It's like, okay, cool, I'm doing this for this reason, but like that inner voice that you have is probably trying to help you in some way. I mean, there's definitely been times in my life where I'm like, okay, cool, I'm taking a 6-month break from this, or like whatever it is, and like those times I feel great, and then afterwards I'll go back to doing whatever, and I'm like assessing it. I'm like, am I being more productive now or less? And I'm like, or is it the same? Like, am I getting more ahead in life? Like, because I'm always like trying to like weigh it out in my head. But I definitely know what you're saying. Like, if there's something telling you, like trying to guide you, like you're the toad can be an honest voice to go off of.
Yeah,
So I
you just
understand
gotta
that.
listen to it. I feel like, some people may not have the experience and it's like, okay, cool, and then don't
Yeah,
take anything from it or whatever. So I don't know. Like I said, you gotta be ready for it.
absolutely. Eryk, being in, so when you fought in Orlando, that was the first time I've ever been at any MMA event in my life, and I was there, and it was so exciting to be at a UFC event. It was also very difficult for me because I'm always going off with the commentators. I'm going off of afterwards checking out like YouTube videos to break down fights as well. But being at an arena with just like every 30 seconds you hear, "Oh!" I'm like, "What happened? What happened? What happened?" And then like 10 more seconds, "Oh!" I'm like, is Kyle down? Is Eryk winning? What's going down here? And like literally that's like what was happening for 6 hours. But nonetheless, I had an amazing time because like I became obsessed with fighters and the UFC basically when the pandemic started. And now I've gone back and watched like the legendary fights from before then. But honestly, like this has been a very new thing for me, and being at an event was, I mean, it's electrifying being there. But you can't hear anything. Like you can't even hear like, "Sir, are you ready? Sir, are you ready?" Like you can't even hear that in the arena.
That was
And
very
I just want
good, Sean. Keith Peters.
that was
Keith
yeah that
Peterson
was no
impression.
nonsense, Keith Peterson.
Yeah, he
That
was
was no
actually my rep
nonsense
for that
himself.
fight too.
Yeah, so I wanted to hear, "Sir, are you ready?" Like that's all I was waiting for. And but it was awesome hearing Bruce and your post-fight speech. I was listening back to it today. There was a lot of emotion in that. It was I told Sal, I was like, "Man, I got an emotional radar." And it was you definitely you put it all out there for that, and it was really cool to hear. But I mean, how have you felt since that fight? Because I'm sure there was a lot. It felt like a lot of pressure you were putting on yourself for that one.
Yeah, winning solves everything. So.
Yeah.
But man, to be honest, like like I was telling you earlier, like whenever you feel a certain way or whatever you're going through, dude, just work out. But I got that fight and I was like, okay, cool. I'll just train like more, with more intensity and with more purpose, rather than just like showing up to the gym, putting in the work and leaving. Like it really, I don't know, like pressure kind of, sometimes makes a pipe bust, but it also makes
Yeah.
diamonds too. I think it just kind of depends on like the person. So yeah, there's just a lot more intent and intensity in my training for this camp. So I think that went a long way. And all the stuff that I was going through that I really don't want to get into, it kind of like pushed me to be better and do better. So yeah, I think you may not necessarily understand why at the time, but when it's over, you're like, oh, it was actually a good thing.
Did you get to go out and celebrate in Orlando?
Of
Because
course.
in your post fight, you said you were gonna hit the town of Orlando and see what they had to offer, didn't you?
Yeah. Orlando's cool. Orlando's dope.
Where'd you go? Because I'm in Orlando right now.
I think it's called McQueen's.
Nice.
Phil Rowe had an after party there that popped into. So yeah, it was dope.
Yeah, Orlando's a pretty cool spot. Like it's really blown up in the last like 5 years.
Yeah, I'd imagine so with Disney World and all the theme parks and stuff there. A place will always probably, go up.
Well, no, it was an exciting fight. The arena was loving you, that's for sure, that entire night. Like that whole fight, you were just definitely, from what I could hear, you were in control. I just kept going, was that Eryk? and I definitely was getting the impression like you were getting the job done how you wanted it to happen.
Yeah, I wish all the fights would go like that. So, hopefully from here on out they do. Maybe I'll kind of create some chaos in my life before I go into camp to, kind of
Yeah, man.
duplicate the results.
You just need chaotic goals to make those diamonds.
Yeah, exactly.
In that fight, how do you? Because I see a lot of people saying like he quit or whatever. How did you assess that? Like, was it just how you were executing on what you wanted to do, or do you think that he kind of
I
crumbled?
think I think like it's a combination of a few things. Like I think as a fighter you have to like feel the other fighter and like kind of like feel. I think like a lot of times like dudes will go for like submissions and then dudes not ready to die yet. They haven't cooked them on enough. You know what I mean? They haven't. They're not tired enough. They're not beat up enough or whatever, so they lose the position. Like sometimes the guy's a wounded animal and that makes him more dangerous. You know what I mean? So I just felt and I could see in his face that he was ready to go. Like he kept going to his back. And I could just, I don't know, I could just feel his energy when I was in there. And I was like, yeah, he's ready to go. But before that, the crowd was booing because he was on his back and I was kicking his legs. But
Yeah.
I'm just cooking him a little bit, Just imagine laying on your back with somebody standing over you who, like someone who hits hard or whatever. Like it's a pretty shitty feeling. So I just wanted to cook him a little bit, and then the last time I dropped him, I could just tell that because he didn't even get up. He like got up to his knees and then tried to shoot a single leg, and it didn't work. And he rolled to his back, and I could just feel him like. I don't want to say he quit, dude, because for me, you call me whatever, but if you call me a quitter, that's probably like the most insulting thing that you could possibly do. But, at the same time, like I could see that, his willingness to be in that fight was dwindling. You know what I mean?
And
There was a clash of heads in that fight too, right?
Yeah, and at the end of the first round, and people like they try to say like they asked me like, did that have any effect on that? But man, I had dropped them already before. It's not like I did that and all of a sudden I was hurting. But nah, I was hurting them already. The fight was going to end that way it ended, regardless whether his chin, and it wasn't even that bad. Like obviously, I felt his head hit my head, but we've definitely seen worse collisions, in the fight. So,
But doesn't
yeah.
that happen to him often?
yeah, the last like 3 fights, I think he's had a.
I feel like it. Yeah.
Well, dude, he's a tall dude, man. He's like 6'3", 6'4", or whatever, which is tall for the division.
Yeah.
And my arm and shoulder is a little bit messed up going into the fight, so I really couldn't throw it straight. So I kind of had to like duck my head and throw like looping overhands with it. So maybe he thought I was shooting a shot or something, and like he went down as I was coming up, and boom, accidents happen.
Hey, like you said, you had to make it ugly.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you watch the fights this weekend by any chance?
I did most of them, but whenever the kids are around, I try to pay them a little bit more attention than I do the TV. So yeah, but yeah, they're fight fans. So yeah, we watch the fights and stuff for sure.
What so because I don't know, I think there's like a difference between like a fighter who's like, okay, cool, I'm really good at fighting, but I'm not into watching fights. Would you say you're a fan of the UFC?
Yeah,
fan of,
I remember even when I was in college, watching fights. My roommate was a huge MMA fan, and so he's the one who kind of put me on game. And I'm a big fan. Even before and after fighting, I'll always be a fan of MMA. And I watched everything from from amateur fighting all the way to the UFC and everything in between.
The card this weekend was amazing until the last two, and then I mean there was not a single decision until it went to the judges in the co-main event and then the main event.
I didn't watch the main event, so I really don't know. I'd like to go back and watch it. I need to. But
did you watch the co-main?
I did. I thought that Jared Gordon won like easily, hands down. Whether you want to give him 30-27 or 29-28, it doesn't matter. Like I think that he won.
Yeah. So what do you make of that? How does something like that even happen?
I think judges are incompetent. They have no idea what it is they're looking at, watching, how to judge the fight. It's I don't know, dude. They don't leave it to the hands of the judges, and you for sure try to, finish these guys. But, some of these guys are tough and they won't die, So why am I penalized for, like, even my last fight, dude? I think that I won. I beat the Korean Turtle or whatever his name is. But
Jung Young Park.
Yeah, they gave him the fight, and I was like, how? But whatever, it is what it is. The only thing that I care about is not even so much the wins and losses as much as it is I lose half my money.
Right.
So.
Do you think the crowd plays an effect in that? Because every time that Patty would land, the crowd goes crazy. And but, I mean,
I'm sure.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if the crowd's influencing the judges.
I'm sure, because you even hear coaches try to influence the judges by like yelling every time they loud, land a flush shot or whatever, even though it doesn't do anything. Especially in the apex where you can hear the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how to remedy the issue. I think that there should be like a course that they take, or I'm pretty sure in boxing, before you can like ref or judge like high level fights, you have to have X amount of hours of judging before or amateur fights or whatever. So I think they should have like workshops and like continued learning courses or stuff, or whatever they have to take, or whatever the case may be. I don't necessarily think that, like, a lot of people say that fighters should be judges, but if I'm a striker and I suck at jiu-jitsu, I'm not going to reward jiu-jitsu or wrestling as much as I am striking. You know what I mean? So
how do you feel about open scoring?
I think that they should absolutely do that, but if you do that, I think you have to bring like yellow cards and penalize fighters for trying to like flee and evade the fight. You know what I mean? Because if I'm up, I would never do this, but maybe a fighter's up 2 rounds and they want to coast or whatever the 3rd round, so they just get on their bike and run, backpedal and run circles around and not engage in the fight, then, you're going to have to penalize that person. One more.
Do you feel that that's what Jared did? Coasted in the 3rd round?
No, I think, Jared held him up against the cage the whole round. To me, if you're being held against the cage, that's the same is being held on the ground. It's just one's horizontal and one's vertical. What's the difference? You know what I mean?
Right.
Outside of the actual finish of the takedown. But sometimes, like, what they score, like me, for example, I had like 26 takedown attempts against Park. But I wasn't really trying to take him down for real. I was just trying to get attached, hold him against the cage, and, beat him up there. So, or beat him up in the clinch or whatever it is. So, then maybe that's why I lost the fight, because they're like, oh, he's not finishing the takedown, but I'm not actually trying to take him down. And when I actually try to take him down, like for real, like I finished the takedowns, so I don't know.
Yeah, I heard Aljo describing that like as it's a great tactic, going for the takedown. You're putting the person. You're making that thought in their head, like, hey, he's going to go for this, he's going to go, and then you're able to get damage. And that it's a really good strategy. And if they're not judging it based off of what you're actually doing, then they're thinking something. Then they're thinking you're not being successful at something that you're not even trying to go for.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know what and to be fair to the judges, they don't know that I'm for real trying to attempt a takedown or what it is that I'm trying to do. But at the same time, I'm controlling the fight. If I'm holding you against the fence, what's the difference between that and holding you on the ground? It's still control time.
Sal, you told me that you had a take on the Patty Jared fight that you were gonna drop. You've been holding out on me, so I'd like to know what your thoughts were on this.
I'm just gonna look silly now.
We want to know. We want to know.
I feel like, and I think technically the criteria is damage should be rated higher, but I do feel like if you don't do any damage and you're just controlling, that you shouldn't win the round. So I feel like.
But why should the other guy win the round if he can't get off the cage?
Well, I feel like damage should count more. You know what I mean?
Okay, but if nobody's doing damage, then what's next? Aggression, control. I'm controlling the fight.
And Sal, there's no way that you didn't think that Jared was doing more damage in that first round.
And he for sure, I think he for sure won the first 2 rounds. He was catching with all kinds of hooks, backing him up.
So, like, even
I'm
if you're
really
going to say
surprised.
Patty got that third, how are you going to give him the first?
I didn't give Patty the third, no.
I mean, I will say this about Patty Pim. I am impressed with his chin, unless Jared Gordon just doesn't hit very hard. But, you know, he's got finishes and stuff like that. So, you know.
That left hook was connecting every time he wanted it to.
Yeah, he must have hit him 100 times with that thing.
Yeah.
Well, Sal's young, so he's on that Patty hype train.
I'm not great with these debates. I just kind of I don't come that correct. This happened with DC that one time.
Yeah, Sal was on like a debate show with DC one time, and literally he like called in to talk to DC, and within like 2 minutes, like DC started doing his whole thing. It's very intimidating. Like the character of Daniel Cormier is like a lot to handle, and I'm like, Sal sent me the clip, and I'm just like, oh man, you totally just got DC'd.
Folded immediately.
Well, man, you know, he's a 2-division champion, an Olympic caliber wrestler, and all he does is watch and commentate fights. So, you know, I think his opinion is like super valid. And I don't even know what y'all were arguing about, but you know,
it was the reign of Kamaru Usman.
So what?
It was Kamaru's reign.
Kamaru what?
It was about Kamaru's reign as a champion.
And like, what was the argument though?
Yeah, Sal, what were you saying?
I was saying like it wasn't as like I didn't think he should be called the GOAT at 70 yet.
Probably not. You know, just because like now they're saying everybody's the greatest at everything, and I don't know if they're just saying that to like sell, you know, headlines. Come look at this guy; he's the greatest in this division of all time. You know, I think it's that term. I do agree with you. Like that term is like overused. You know, like Volkanovski, they're saying he's the greatest. You know, I'm like, but how? You know, he has like, you know, I don't know how many title defenses he has, but
it's like 3 or 4.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't be called the reign. Like, you know, it's cool. Like his win streak, it really is impressive, but you know, I don't know about the GOAT.
Who would there be the GOAT for you, like of MMA?
Yeah, I think it's hard for anybody to argue against John Jones. Just look at his resume and the number of champions, former champions that he's beaten. No one's even close.
Is he coming back?
Maybe. I don't know.
I want him. I really would like that. I need a change in that division.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the division is changed. You know, how many champions have there been since John Jones in the 205 division? You know, Yan's had it. They just fought for their interim belt. Yuri had it. You know, the belt, now they're going to fight for it in Brazil. Glover had it. You know, that belt has changed hands a couple times. But when John Jones was there, like, you're just showing up to, you know, get that contender check. You know what I mean? You're not beating John Jones, dude.
Well, in your division,
then I don't know how he's going to come back now, you know.
In your division, there's a new champion. How did you feel when that happened?
That's the beauty about MMA, dude. You can lose, you know, 24 minutes of a fight, but in that last minute, find a way to win. So, you know, yeah, I thought that Israel was doing well. You know, he got hurt in that last minute. Maybe he should have shot a shot and just thugged it out for the last, you know, whatever. Because, you know, I do think that he was up, you know, at least 3 or 4 rounds to Pereira to the 5th round, dude. Thought, you know, but you know that's the game.
It's amazing that this, great. It's amazing that this year 3 title fights have had the person who's down win in the 5th round.
Yeah, Leon Edwards, Alex Pereira, and
Yuri. Yuri was down.
But what does he do? That fight was so back and forth, dude. I don't know.
You don't think?
It might have been like, I mean, I think 2-2.
Yeah, I don't. You know, those type of fights, like Yuri and Glover, the first one, those are extremely hard to judge. I think, but you have to pick a winner. I haven't watched this title fight from this past weekend, but I seriously doubt Ankalaev's going to a draw with anybody. You know, so
how has there ever been a draw for a title fight ever?
Yeah,
really?
I think it's BJ Penn. It was BJ Penn. I can't remember the other guy's name, but it was a while ago. Yeah, it's rare. super rare.
It's such an interesting thing. And then, like, I don't know, if you could have a crystal ball before these fights happen and just put a bunch of money on the title fight being a draw, it'd be such an exciting.
Yeah, I wonder
one.
what the odds were for that.
It was like 6,000.
Yeah.
They put it out. It was crazy.
And imagine putting fucking $1,000 on that.
Yeah.
For sure. Dude, when we were watching, John Anik kept referencing somebody who had like a 7-leg parlay and he put $500. He goes, our MMA fans have a lot of money. He goes, somebody put a $500 bet on a 7-leg parlay to win $35,000.
Did he win?
Yeah, well, because I think the last person he had was Magomed, and then that was a draw, so it probably just canceled that out, and $500 probably still won him like $27,000.
Shit.
I know, it's just like, but like, who is like being like, okay, cool, I'm gonna take $500 and put it on, because you know how unpredictable fights are, like 7-leg parlay, like that's crazy.
Yeah, and he got 6 of them right too. That's wild.
I hit two 10-leggers this weekend.
Yeah, he probably did win all.
Yeah, I hit 2 10-leg parlays this weekend with like $1 each.
So how much did you win?
500 off of 10 legs.
Oh shit! Well, that's the beauty about
Yeah,
parlays.
It was nice. It was nice.
How do you feel about the ban on fighters betting? Like, are you someone who likes to bet on fights?
Yeah, I used to bet every weekend, but I certainly see why we're not allowed to anymore based off of what's going on now.
Yeah. That's a weird situation.
But I think I should be able to bet on fights. Maybe not my fight, and I have bet on myself before. I, put like $1,000 on myself to beat the Iron Turtle, and then I quickly realized, like, dude, unless you're gonna like knock this guy out, like, don't bet.
Oh, that sucks. But you should have been able to do it.
No, it may have been like $100 or something. I know I would have won 1,800 or whatever it was, and I can't remember what the odds were.
I could understand them banning like coaches or people who just work in the sport, but I don't see the problem with fighters doing it.
Yeah.
But the Kraus thing is definitely a problem. The insider info.
Well, fighters have the same information the coaches do.
Yeah.
Like if my teammates fighting, I would know.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know how you'd solve that. And they don't really want to talk about it. It's being kind of under wraps and all that.
Well, you got like full countries banning betting right now. So, I mean, I think it's a way bigger deal than even blaming it like one fight. I think like one fight is blowing the lid off this whole thing that might have been going on.
I mean, it's probably happened before, dude,
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I want like a real number. Like how much money was this Discord making off of, things that we will never know about. It for me, it seems like a Breaking Bad episode, and I just get excited about that. Like James Krause is now Heisenberg in my mind.
Yeah, well, like he is a good dude. I really hope that like he comes out on the better side of this, because like I know him personally, and like he is a good dude. And I mean, who did he really hurt other than Vegas? And how many people has Vegas fucked over? So
that's
he just
that is such a good point.
Got even a little bit, So
yeah.
And I don't even know if what he did or what they're accusing him of is true, but it'll all come out in the end, I guess.
So who would you like to fight this year?
Oh man, I don't care. I don't know. Whoever. I don't say no to much. So the UFC knows that, so they'll give me somebody, or they'll offer me somebody on wherever. And all right, let's go. I know that they're going to San Antonio in March, so we'll see what happens.
Do you way prefer a live crowd than the Apex?
Yeah, well, I like the small cage of the Apex, but I like the roar of the crowd as well. So, for me, it's whatever. They could bring the small cage on the road. That'd be great too.
It makes a huge difference, doesn't it? The size difference.
Oh yeah, because the small cage is that's a fighter's cage. Like there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to whatever. It's like you have 5 extra feet on each side in the big cage, which is a big difference.
I think that big cage is perfect for Wonder Boy though.
Dude, that fight was amazing. I went and sat in the stands after that.
Nice.
Checked it out. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was another one for me where it was just for 20 minutes.
Well, Eryk, I know you gotta head out soon, so I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your time with us. It was cool to get to talk to you. And know a little bit more.
My pleasure. Anytime, fellas.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys have a good one.
Yeah, thank you, Eryk. Really appreciate it. That was your boy, Eryk Anders.
Boy.
Dude.
Let me see. Oh, my sounds aren't working.
What a guy!
What a guy!
What a guy.
Dude, you got to talk about DMT. We're basically Joe Rogan status.
Dude, that's what I was going for.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum.
We're taking his guests. I mean, we're next up.
Dude,
that's how it is.
Dude, that's the first time I've ever admittedly said that I've done DMT with somebody else on a show. So that was exciting for me.
There you go, Dan.
Yeah.
What better place than a Fighting Chance podcast?
Yeah, little does he know I lied.
I was just trying to be relatable.
Yeah, I just wanted to be relatable. Nah, I'm just kidding. But I don't. I'm a transparent. I'm too transparent sometimes. But that's why. You know, the thing is, dude. If I had to say the reason why I'm so transparent in this world, is because I can't see people's facial reactions.
Yeah, dude. You brought up the Patty thing, and like I felt like I was fine, like okay, let's do this, and I look at the screen and my face is like bright red. Like, oh no, I can't hide this.
Yo, in the back.
And then he's like, so I think you won. Like, what are you doing?
No.
Like,
The best part was you mentioned the damage and the control, and he's like, well, what was he like? He just fucking came right back at you like. I
was like, I'm sorry, scary guy. You're right.
Please.
I don't mean any of that.
He's Eryk, not your boy Anders.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I got very scared.
Dude, you folded.
I folded hard.
You did.
I folded hard.
You did. But what really that told us is that you're just a Patty fanboy, and you have no opinion on this matter.
No, I don't know. I still.
He's not on the show anymore, dude. You lost. It's okay.
No. I was just gonna say. I think that it was a close fight, and I feel like the whole aerial thing that Patty did, which I don't agree with. I don't think he should have done that. I think it blew that whole fight out of proportion. So I think people were like heavy against Patty, and like, you know, if he hadn't gone into that, a lot of people would be like, okay, I can see how you give it to him. But the robbery comments, I think it's just because he pissed off the wrong people, and it was a bad move. Excuse me.
Well, all I know is when you try to debate your boy Eryk Anders there, he wanted to be standing over you, cooking you.
Yeah, he got real scary looking at that point.
Dude, that term, cooking him, it excites me.
Yeah, bro, you know what I was thinking? Like, that's the heaviest weight class fighter we've had on the show so far. We've had all like lightweights and stuff.
Yeah, we've had
205.
Yeah, we've had people that I could just walk over until now.
Yeah. You're saying you could walk over Slava Claus?
Dude, he's like 155 pounds.
Yeah, but Slava Claus is pretty jacked, bro.
Jacked means nothing.
You're more jacked.
I would hold him down.
Not cool, dude. Not cool. I thought you were fans of these guys.
Dude, I'm fans of everybody. But do you know who I'm a bigger fan of? My own skill set.
Yeah, that left hook.
From
hell.
No, dude, I'm sure every single person that we've had on here who is a professional UFC fighter could have their way with me in every single aspect of the game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. I think that's a fair assessment.
If it isn't, I'm going out for their job.
Dude, you get ranked next week. You're number 8.
I'm number 8 in all divisions.
What division would you fight at?
Honestly, so I had this conversation at the Orlando event with with the people I was there with, because they know what's up. They know I'm a fighter in training.
You're the guy,
dude. I would fight because we all know weight divisions is part of the strategy. I would fight. You ready for it?
Oh God.
145. No. I would 100% fight at 155.
What do you weigh right now?
Right now, I weigh 190 pounds. But no.
And you're like 6 foot?
I'm 6 foot, but me being at 170 is I could be 170 next week effortlessly.
Really?
Effortlessly.
You could drop 20 pounds in a week?
Effortlessly.
And not feel like sucked out, like you could cut another 15?
100%.
Huh.
Yeah. So like
Dude, you might be the most dangerous lightweight of all time.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like besides the blind part, 100%.
Right.
100. Besides the part where I can't see you.
Yeah.
No, dude.
It's that little detail.
When I've done like the carnivore thing and you just drop weight like no problem. Like I've gotten down to 165 pounds like in the last 2-3 years. And that's without
165?
Yes, dude.
Wow. So you're just ripped.
But like concaved.
Wow.
Yeah, like people have been, people have been like, "Oh, you're like I see your cheekbones." Like things like
concerned for you.
No, seriously, I had family members like literally pulling me aside being like, "Is everything okay?" Like that kind of shit. And like
it's like, "Leave me alone. I'm getting jacked.
I'm eating meat."
I'm living by the 9 ancestral tenets.
Yeah. I'm the liver king, damn it.
Yeah.
But no, dude, so I was cuz dude, I was when I got into this thing and I was like super obsessed. I mean, I was working out twice a day, just doing everything like and not eating. Like I was eating one meal a day and I would still work out twice a day. And I felt good. Like cuz you can fast all day and yeah, like I seriously felt great. And I was like 165 pounds and that's without doing like an actual cut that week of like 10 more pounds or whatever. And I know that would just be 155, but I feel like I could have pushed it even harder to like 160, 162, and then did the real shebang, and then got jacked to 185 the night of the fight.
I mean, that's essentially Rafael dos Anjos when he was fighting at 55.
Yeah, so put me in with him.
He'd cut from like 190.
So put me in.
Eddie Alvarez too.
Yeah, I mean, unless he wants to, sit on me for 25 minutes and ride my back,
bro.
Like,
the bare knuckle, I guess CEO or whatever, the promoter, just said they're trying to do Nate Diaz versus Eddie Alvarez in bare knuckle boxing.
Really?
That's what they're targeting.
See, I hope all these people who are gonna get into bare knuckle fighting have actually hit something with bare knuckles.
Dude, it hurts.
It's not a good feeling.
It hurts.
Yeah, it's really easy to shatter a knuckle.
Yeah. Dude, when the Eryk thing, when you brought up the Gordon fight, when he started saying going against me, I almost wanted to be like, I've trained before. I know it's hard. I've trained before. Okay, I'm not a complete casual. Please don't hurt me. I know you're across the country right now, but I'm scared.
Dude, we just it's when you have 3 people, one person is gonna just be the odd man out, and I felt like in that moment.
Yeah, you ganged up against me.
I did.
I guess I'm building character though,
That's what it is.
Moments.
Yeah, I mean, think about it this way. Now with that clip, we can get Patty on the show because you're obsessed.
You really want to get Patty on here and start beefs. It seems like it's your whole goal.
Ugh, what do you mean? What do you mean I want to start some beef?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
I'm sorry for what I just did. That was a horrible impression. I don't even know why I tried.
Yeah. That's my impression. You want to hear my Patty?
Just bullshit.
We're gonna blow the fucking roof off the gaff, Chled.
The gaff. Just start like you're hacking a loogie and then just start speaking.
Dude, I told David earlier today, people from if I was a doctor and I did like an examination on people from around the world, I guarantee you there'd be like a rawness to people from Liverpool's throats.
Yeah, right. That has to hurt.
It can't be good for it. Like just walking.
I like.
What?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna go.
I was gonna say I like how they say Liverpool. Well, like where's that in coming from? Well.
Did you hear him and Dominic Cruz talking?
No, I saw like a clickbait title though that they argued or something.
Yeah,
did they actually argue?
Yeah, Dominic Cruz, he's the man.
He called him out.
Yeah, he did.
He's back from the Shadow Realm.
Hey man, Dominic's coming on the show, and I don't think he's gonna like you saying
the Dominator.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna like you saying the Shadow Realm about him.
I mean, it's just the truth.
He had his nose broken.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all that happened.
And he went unconscious. Was also the other one.
It was the shock of his nose breaking.
Yeah. My nose.
No, remember the movie The Longest Yard?
Yeah, Adam Sandler.
He broke my nose. I love little Michael.
That's that guy passed, right?
Passed gas.
The guy who plays. Wow.
What he did? He
real classy. I think he died. Is what I was trying to say.
Oh.
You're talking about farts.
Oh, I thought you were saying he passed on coming on the show.
Yeah. I hit him up. He left me on red.
He went to the.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That was Bob Sapp. Legendary MMA fighter Bob Sapp.
That's who that is?
You know about Bob Sapp?
He's like the 300-pound dude who used to fight like smaller dudes, right?
Yeah.
That's who that was?
Hear his record? 24-39.
Wait, 24?
Probably the greatest fighter of all.
24 wins and 39 losses?
Yeah. Bob Sapp is the most confusing career of all time. Because
let me at him.
like early Bob Sapp was just a savage, like run through everybody. And then there was a steep decline where he just, as soon as you would hit him, he'd instantly fold. It was very weird. It's probably the steroids, you know?
The what?
The steroids.
Oh, the steroids.
That's how Theo Vaughn says it.
Dude, Theo used to be on the juice.
Yeah.
I love those.
I
love his stories. I love his stories of like, what was the dude's name? He had like a friend in his town that he used to go and do steroids with.
The one who drove into an embankment?
Yeah, dude. That
guy?
Yeah.
Bro, I love the one about that he was like, he was going to a party or something,
mm-hmm.
and he just asked this homeless dude to come with him, and he was like, yo, act like you're my friend. He's like, all right. And they went in this limo, and then they went to the party, and then later in the party, they heard like a window shatter, and someone started screaming like, they took all the purses,
yeah.
And he found out that the dude that he came with like broke the window and took all the purses and just jumped out the window, and that was the guy who he brought.
Dude, I brought an.
It's funnier when he says it.
I brought an Uber driver into a random party one time.
What was his name?
I don't remember, but it didn't go well.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, it really didn't go well. Like I said, dude, I don't see facial expressions. Totally misread this situation. I thought
it's like a serial killer.
I thought everybody was vibing. I thought everybody was enjoying. Little did I know, it really didn't. It did not go well. I think I lost some friends that night.
Oof. Is it not YouTube friendly?
David just chimed in. We just had an exclusive chime in from our producer above, David.
Oh,
and David just chimed in saying he tried to tell me in the car it was a bad idea.
Oh, okay. So he warned you.
Yeah,
but
dude, this was like me believing that David was misreading the situation. That's what I was thinking. I was like, no, David, this is good. This is a good call.
Yeah.
And he was right. And then what was so funny and I tried to do it again another time at the same house. Like they were getting pizza delivered to the party, and I was like, "Oh, it's cool. Come on in." Like, because I just thought at that point I could just bring random people into that house.
Did you have like a great conversation with this Uber driver, or literally he was just driving you and you're like, yo?
So I did. He wasn't from here, so his English wasn't great. But yeah, I was having a great conversation with him and like making him laugh the whole time. And I thought we were best friends. But like he was like talking about like chopping David up and like putting him in a box and like being like very like creepy.
What?
Yeah, he's being like really.
Dude, you're not kidding?
I'm not kidding, dude. But like I was like, oh no, dude, I'm like, no, dude, he's just being funny. It's just,
dude, that's insane. And David's just sitting there listening.
Yeah, because we were laughing and having a good time, and I was like, dude, come have some drinks and smoke some weed, like, because he was like, oh, do you know where I can? And I'm like, oh, dude, these guys will sell you some. Like, it was like that kind of a thing, and like, and then I walked him in there, and I was like, and they had no, dude, these guys who I was really close with, they had no idea who he was, like, so they just thought he was like one of our friends. They just thought he was like our friend that we showed up with until I was like telling him this is our Uber driver, and they were, oh man, like I said, I wish I could have seen their facial expression, because like I thought they were like, oh sweet, like I thought they were down, but.
So now you listen to everything David says. No,
dude, I still think he misread the situation. The guy was, because David was going based off of saying like this guy's a creep, he's not a good, like I still stand by that the guy was a good guy
through all of that.
Yes. Yeah, he didn't steal any purses.
What did he do? Like, was he doing something at the party, or
I think
just the fact that it was all random?
David, didn't he show like some people like just like some weird like porn on his phone?
Oh, okay, that's pretty. You left that part out, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he was just trying. I think he was just trying to do some male bonding. Like, hey.
That's interesting. I've never heard of that before.
David chimed in again. Dude, I know I shouldn't have brought him in, but you live and you learn. You see, without making these mistakes, I would never know not to do that.
I mean, David was literally telling you not to do that. You didn't have to learn the hard way in this situation.
But Sal, if I had not done it, I would have. Oh, to this day, I'd still be thinking, "What if I had done that?"
It would have been that hard on you to this day.
Yeah, man, I can't let things go. Things just weigh on me.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, are you still hurt that Charles lost? Because it hurts, bro. We still. To this day, get comments on that one clip picking Charles.
Well, I'm picking Volkanovski to beat Islam right now too.
Oh.
Hot take.
Wait, I have actual sound effects.
This just in. I, Jared from A Fighting Chance, pick Alexander the Great Volkanovski to beat Islam not so great Makhachev.
Wow, not so great. We went with the elementary school insult for Islam. You're like not good. You're like bad.
Islam back. Oh. Never mind.
Islam Blakachev.
No. What I was gonna say was it just wouldn't have come off well.
Right. We're gonna have to add some context to that at some point.
What?
And let these people know how Gilbert Burns says Leon Edwards.
Dude, you could do it right now.
Because I think it's the greatest thing.
Okay, cool. I brought it to Sal's attention.
You showed me.
I brought it to Sal's attention yesterday. I love Gilbert Burns, and for like a year now, I've noticed. And Gilbert has great English. This is why it's because it's not like I'm making fun of him at all, but it's really funny the way that he says the champion's name, Leon Edwards. I love calling him the champion too. That just feels so good.
Oh yeah.
But
dude, if you know, technically, if you look back at that debate DC thing that I did, I ended up being right because Usman got knocked out, and
dude, you know, Sal, you were right then though. Like that's the point. The point, and this goes along with what Eryk was saying, of doesn't matter what sport you're in. It's all about that confidence, man. You should have literally told DC. You should have called him a bitch. You should have told him that you could kick his ass. And
like, you eat too much Popeyes, bro.
Was that racist? What are you saying there?
What? No, he's the Popeyes guy.
No, that's Derek Lewis.
You haven't seen the whole video he did?
What? What video?
All about that cake?
No.
and chicken. You haven't seen that?
No.
Dude, it's for like the MMA awards. They did it. It's DC doing the Megan Trainor song, All About That Bass, but he's saying all about that cake and chicken.
Really?
And it's him like eating Popeyes. That's what their beef was about with Derek. He's like, I didn't like what he did in that Popeyes video.
Oh.
But DC, and also, what was it when he was fighting Dan Henderson? Dan Henderson brought DC like a box of Popeyes chicken when he was cutting weight. So it's like, yeah, DC's known for liking Popeyes.
Well, yeah, dude. Like I said, you should have just called him a bitch, told him he can't commentate, and just told
or
him
that too.
Yeah, that was your move. You had that moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude,
Or
just
say something about John Jones.
carry
But I have the clip if you want to see it.
of Bleon Bloodwords.
Leon Blood.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the whole thing is Gilbert can't say Leon's name.
For Leon Edwards.
All right.
Blowers.
Now just to prove that it's not a fluke, find another clip.
Oh, finding more clips.
Just find.
Let's see.
Just do a compilation of every time Gilbert's ever said Bleon Bloodwords. Dude, if we get Gilbert on, you can't ever show him this clip.
No, dude. I'm gonna have to. You know what? I'll come on next episode with the compilation ready.
I love that. I love that idea.
Yeah, it'll be a segment. Bleon Bloodwords.
The Bleon Bloodwords Blegment.
I'll just put together like the worst name pronunciations in the history of the sport.
Dude, that could be our new segment, the Bleon Bloodwords Blegment.
Yeah, Bleon Bloodwords, and I'll just find the worst pronunciation of a name. Like I know, just off the top of my head, they used to call Francis Ngannou Francis Ngannou when he first came in the UFC.
That's closer.
Yeah, Ngannou. So there's definitely ones I could find.
Nice.
Do you want to talk about this insane card that just happened?
Yeah, man.
Because
it
was pretty insane.
I can talk about it. I can tell you that Cameron Simon was a savage.
What a stud.
Was a savage in that third round. Like it,
What a stud.
and just put the hurt on. I could tell you. Billy Quarantillo did the same thing.
I mean, it happened in like 3 fights essentially.
It literally did.
They were all like late.
Yeah.
Or not. Quarantillo was their second round,
but still
towards the end of the round.
Yeah, and he was getting beat too.
Dude, Alex did look pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think he looked too great dropping down to featherweight because he was already a big 55er.
Right.
But he looked good. I think it's just he came out too hard, and Billy Quarantillo is a savage, so he's just gonna eat that and then keep coming forward. But I think if he can, control himself a little bit, he can make a little run at 45 for sure.
Dude, Raul Rosas Jr.
Well, we're skipping to that.
I don't have the order in front of me.
What about the action man, Chris Curtis?
Ooh,
what a knockout,
dude!
What a freaking knockout!
It was amazing.
That was beautiful.
Amazing.
Dude, and you could hear how hard he was hitting him too. Like he hit Joaquin with 2 shots early that I don't know how he ate them because they were crackers, like bah bah, and kid just kept going. He snapped his head at one point.
Damn.
With one of them. Dude's made out of steel.
Love it.
You saw Chris Curtis said that he would fight Sean Strickland.
He said that?
Or that Sean. Yeah, because they were talking about it on Ariel today, and
no, I didn't see it.
He was like Sean likes to beat me up for free in the gym, so if you put money in front of that, we would definitely fight.
Dude, that's awesome. I like that.
I would want to see that fight.
Why not? It'd be good.
I got Chris in that fight though. Chris Curtis.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like Sean though.
I just think they'd be having too much fun.
Laughing at
I
each
think they'd
other.
be out there having too much fun.
Probably.
Yeah.
Dude, shout out to Edmund Shabazian.
Ooh.
He had a rough,
Guess who's back?
couple of years.
Back again. Edmund's back.
A good win. Tell your friends.
Edmund's back. Edmund's back. Edmund's back.
That was great. I missed the Daukaus knockout. I walked away for a couple minutes and I came back and it was over. But don't mess with Biggie Boy.
Dude, he got cracked, and he was upset.
Daukaus?
Daukaus hit Biggie Boy in the first.
Oh, okay.
In the first, he got the first punch off, and it was like Jairzinho was just upset, and that
you're gonna hit me.
That's really what it was, and then he just bull rushed him, and it was over.
Dude, maybe we could get Jairzinho on the pod. I know he trains with Mauricio.
He does?
That'd be cool. Yeah, he's at ATT.
Like they spar each other?
No, they probably do like jiu-jitsu. Another sparring. Take trains with very loosely. Like there's like a bunch of people at ATT, but you know he knows them.
Oh, I thought there was only like 6 people there.
No,
it's a big
ATT
it's a big
is
gym.
huge. Dude, it's massive. It's probably one of the biggest gyms.
Yeah, that Dan Lambert.
And they don't have a lot. It's not open to the public, but they have a lot of fighters.
Yeah.
That are in there.
Dude, we should get everybody who's at ATT on the show.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Mateusz Gamrot, I want to get him on the pod.
Dustin.
I want to ask him how he took that shot from Beneil and didn't go out, because that was probably the hardest shot I've ever seen someone just eat. He like folded and just got up and kept going. That's pretty savage.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a nice question for somebody.
No, but you put me on the spot, bro, with Eryk Anders, and I feel like if I want to ask that question, I can ask that question.
Oh, dude, you can ask anything.
Yeah, I have free reign.
Yeah, this. First of all, if you and I are gonna have conversations off the air.
No, you're fine. I was just joking.
If we're gonna discuss things and then I can't bring them up here, then we're.
I knew you were gonna bring it up.
We're missing the goods.
Yeah.
It's like going to a supermarket and not getting the cookie dough.
Yeah. Raul Rosas.
He's good, man.
Junior.
Like I don't know if it was just a easy matchup for him, or I want to know that.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? You put him in there with top 5 people right now, and you think he could do the same thing?
Well, you went quick.
All right, 15, top 15.
Well, he's at bantamweight.
Yeah, it's a crazy division.
Yeah, I don't know who. Let's see. I want to see. Let's matchmake for Raul right now.
Okay.
Let's look at 135.
Could put him in with TJ.
Bring him out of retirement. Let's see.
Bam, 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 bam.
Active bantamweights. We could get him in there with. Dude, what about Brandon Davis? That's a good fight. Brandon Davis, Tony Gradley, David Grant, Chris Gutierrez. There's guys you could get him in there with for sure. Trevin Jones. Just give him a couple couple tests.
His post-fight speech was pretty funny.
Yeah.
50 grand for a minivan. Yeah, I like that.
I like him. He's entertaining. He seems like a good kid. I can't even say I'm like the same age as him, which is kind of crazy.
Dude, I hear he's really good looking. Is that accurate?
Dude, he's a looker.
See, these are questions that I can ask because I'm asking in a genuine sense.
Yeah. People make fun of him, but I think he has like a cleft palate is what it is. And they say that he has like heavy CTE. But it's just, I don't think he has like top.
Wait, he has heavy what though?
Huh?
You said he has heavy what?
I didn't say heavy.
Yeah, you said he has heavy CTE.
Oh, CTE, yeah, like because when he talks, it sounds like he's slurring his words and all that.
You think he already has like heavy CTE?
No, I'm trying. Oh. That's what I'm saying. Like he has that cleft palate.
Okay.
On the top, so it's like deformed.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. So but they're like, oh, he's punch drunk at 17. He's like, no, bro, he's just.
Yeah.
There's something going on with his.
Dude, that's a crazy thing to say, like about like fighters who have like little like speech impediments, like
Yeah.
like
Curtis Blades has one, I know.
yeah,
He has a
me,
stutter.
Curtis Blades.
Yeah. Famous fighter Jared here.
Dude, I walked into my microwave 3 times in the last 2 days.
Dude, you're battle tested.
Like, dude, I will leave the microwave door open and walk right into it.
Do you, when you get hit, do you go, just bleed, like right after? And you square up with the microwave? I've done that before. I've like walked in the doors that I didn't notice were there.
Yeah.
And then I've kind of turned around like, yo, and it's just the door.
You smack it.
And it's pretty embarrassing, yeah.
I've got a hard head. When I was young, like I walked into a cafeteria door, like the glass door was slammed into my forehead in like 7th grade, and within like 10 minutes, like there was like a grapefruit sized bump coming out of my forehead.
Ugh.
It was like genuinely massive, and I think since that day, nothing's ever given me a bump quite like that.
Nice. You conditioned yourself.
It's good to do.
Yeah.
Well, was that it? Do you want to go through any more fights?
Well, I mean, we could talk about the decision that everyone's talking about.
I think we already did.
No, the main event we didn't talk about.
Yeah, because Eryk didn't
that was
watch
pretty
that.
big.
Okay. Yeah.
I could see. I've seen 2 arguments everywhere.
Dude, I've seen a few too. Yeah.
Or 3. I'm seeing like, I think people saying I think Jan won 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And it should have been Jan. I'm seeing people like, oh my god, they completely robbed Magomed. He won every round. And then I'm also seeing like, oh, I agree with the draw. It's not like a general. Not everyone's agreeing on the same thing.
Do you have an opinion?
I have opinions, but I'd probably have to rewatch it, just off of what I remember. I know Jan was doing a lot of damage with the leg kicks.
Yeah, like he almost had him out of there based off of that.
Yeah, but I think that the wrestling that Magomed did in the last 2 rounds, I think you could have given him the fight.
Dude, it really pissed me off. It really pissed me off how much Joe Rogan backed up Jan into Jan. He like basically made him say like that he lost the fight.
That's what I'm saying. Like he was like,
right.
Clearly we thought he won the fight. He's like, what you said clearly.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, that was bothering me. Because like Jan had
a little bias in there.
Jan had just been beaten to shit for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, he couldn't even talk.
No,
he kept saying like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah.
But yeah,
he's always done that.
I could definitely see the argument for Jan winning the first 3. Which if you're scoring off of rounds, that's 3-2.
Yeah.
But you know the thing is, you're upset about a draw based off of it being the ending of the night and it's just anticlimactic. Like that's why it bothers people.
And like, no, the belt stays is I think the most annoying thing.
Yeah.
Like there's no champion now.
But I after like 2 days after, I don't think a draw is a bad decision for that fight.
Yeah, I like I said, I gotta rewatch it. What I do like that came out of it is that fight in Rio. Cause that's a banger. Jamal Hill and Glover Teixeira.
It could be.
I mean, I think it's just impressive that he took that fight.
Jamal?
Obviously, I know it's like an opportunity for the belt, but still, I mean, you're gonna take on Glover on like a month's notice, less in Brazil.
Wait, when is that fight?
January 14th, I think.
No, it's what? No, it's not.
I'm pretty.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm pretty sure. Dude.
No. It couldn't be.
Oh no, sorry, that's Gastelum and Maybach.
Yeah.
But it's not that much long after it, I'm pretty sure.
It's like a month after.
It's in January.
Is it?
Yeah. 283. January 21st.
He's got plenty of time. Just become a master of jiu-jitsu in the next 1 month.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And I think I'm frozen here. So we can, I think we can wrap it up, though.
Cool, man. Did you have a fantasy fight or not this week?
I think I gotta come prepared with a fantasy fight. I think I have to think on it, and I obviously can't convey my emotions through the screen. I'm frozen. So.
Okay, cool. Well, let's wrap it up then.
Yeah.
This has been another great episode of A Fighting Chance, episode 16, with your boy, Eryk.
Your boy.
Anders. And I just want to say thank you to everybody, all the support. Like, subscribe. Please ring that bell for notifications. It's a big help for the channel, and we really appreciate everybody who's on the Fighting Chance journey with us. I'm Jared, and we got our main man, Salvador Garcia, with us. And we are out. Till next time.